Hey, this is MB with another MB review for Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Alright, I'm kind of just going to jump into this. This is like the ninth, eighth Marvel film, so at this point with Captain America, we all know who the actors are. We all should know who the characters are. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. They are from Arrested Development and Community fame. They've also directed Yumi and Dupree and Welcome to Collinwood. So, looking at their resume, they're not exactly the first people you would think who would do a Marvel film, but I am happy to say that even with the Avengers in mind, this is probably the strongest Marvel film to date. I was in awe of this film. This movie, if you're going to the movies this weekend, I can't imagine what you would be seeing other than this film. This is the movie to see for the next few weeks. This is the movie to see again in the next few weeks. Chris Evans has never been better as Captain America. This is his third time out as a character, and this is the best I've seen him play it. Definitely the man at a time. And in this new story, based off of the amazing comic arc by Ed Brubaker, this is definitely the most mature, intelligent, and definitely the darkest Marvel film. And Evans handles it all, leads it all incredibly well, playing vulnerable, playing angry, playing emotional. There's a lot of secrets in this film I'm not going to reveal. As I say, I never talk about the plot or the story. Needless to say, this is definitely a political and conspiracy thriller in the 70s vein. If you read any of the reviews, everyone is talking about how this is definitely a throwback to the 70s conspiracy thrillers, and it really is. Um, there's a reason why Robert Redford's in this movie. I mean, the guy who was in 3 Days of the Condor and All the President's Men, it adds such an important weight to the film with him involved as the character Alexander Pierce. And that's what's crazy about this film is that, don't get me wrong, I loved it. It's the strongest film, I think, in Marvel's resume so far. It's the first one I'd hesitate to think that kids will be enthralled to it. The action scenes are amazing. I'll get into that later. But as far as the story, I feel like the story would go over kids' heads. So that's the only warning I can give to you parents out there is that this is really a mature film. Even the violence is a little bolder, a little grittier. So this is the Marvel film with its thinking cap on, and it is at one of its second longest Marvel films, almost 2.5 hours. So definitely a film that might fly over kids' heads, but one that they can grow up with and maybe learn from. Um, as far as the action, oh my goodness. Um, it's pretty awesome. This is the best staged action I've seen in a Marvel film. Um, the Russos really obviously have an affinity for the old school way of action that I really love, where let's not worry about CGI or any of that, even though that's there in this film, maybe in the last set piece. But for the rest of it, it's really just like car vehicles, hand to hand combat, and it's up close and personal. It's gritty, it's tough, it feels like one of the old school action films we all used to love with Schwarzenegger and Stallone. And I really appreciated seeing that in a Marvel film when all the other films were more, CGI heavy battles. This one really, the action is, I can't say it enough, man. The action in this film, better than anything I've seen in the Marvel Universe so far. And then there's the villain, the Winter Soldier. You know, the Russos are smart. If you watch Arrested Development or community. You can see they have references galore. You can tell that they love cinema, that they've seen everything, and it inspires and pushes every scene they do in their works. It's the same way here. With Winter Soldier, you can totally tell that this is inspired. The way the camera presents him, the way the character moves, the way the music and the action play around him, they were totally inspired by Terminator 2 and Predator as far as the villains in those movies, or the hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. The way the camera watches the Winter Soldier, he is threatening, imposing, intimidating, and powerful. And it was good that, just like, in Predator, you don't see the creature that often. You don't see the Winter Soldier often in this film, but when he does, it has such a tremendous impact. It I don't want to ruin anything, but let's just say this is probably going to be one of the best characters in the Marvel Universe, one of the best anti-heroes you'll see, the villain that everyone's going to be talking about. We want to see more of him. I can't wait to see more of him. I can't wait for Captain America 3. As far as the rest of the cast, everyone is on point. Robert Redford, like I said, he steals every scene. I haven't seen the guy in a movie for a while, but he nails it in this film. It is so nice to see Robert Redford in this film. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, has way more to do in this film than he's ever done. He has one solid action scene, and then he has a lot of emotional weight throughout the film. This is where we see more of Nick Fury. Same can be said for Scarlett Johansson. She definitely deserves her own film now. There's a lot of secrets to her, a lot of emotional backstory that we still don't see, but we get hints of. And her repartee with Evans is great. They have some serious chemistry in this movie, almost to the point where you're thinking, is there a relationship in the future? They play off really well in this film. And the biggest high mark for me was definitely Anthony Mackie as the Falcon. This guy is the heart of the film. He is the humor. He is what keeps us grounded. He is, when it gets dark in the film, it's his character that kind of lightens things up, and the action scenes involving him, amazing. It is so awesome to see Sam Wilson, the Falcon, in this film. I'm just, I'm totally geeking about this film. There's for all you Marvel fans and comic book fans, don't worry. This movie has so many references to other characters, old and new, and the events in this movie, by the time the movie ends, the events in this film affect the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Big things are coming. It is definitely the one film where the events correlate with everything. And I could honestly say this feels like the direct sequel to the Avengers, but also a great standalone film. So, with that said, go see it. This is kind of like how Dark Knight was at Batman Begins. This is the Dark Knight sequel for Captain America, where it far outshines the original, which I loved. I love the original. I thought it's one of the classier. It's such a throwback to old cinema, and I loved the way they handled that one. This one, though, is just another beast altogether. It's my favorite Marvel film to date, and yeah, they knocked this one out of the park. I'm crazy about this movie. Go see it. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I am going to see it again ASAP on IMAX. So, yeah, MB approved. See it, see it, see it. Alright, guys. I'll catch you later.